Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Matt and I like video games. And today's video is just going to be kind of a short rant about content being locked exclusively to certain platforms, so stay tuned. So we've all seen the news that Marvel Avengers will have Spider-Man locked to the PlayStation 4 and the upcoming PlayStation 5 versions of the video game. And honestly, I've seen a lot of different people on my Twitter timeline who are very upset about this. I've seen people condemning Sony for what they believe to be anti-consumer practices for locking this specific content to their platform. But in this video, I'm going to talk about what I think is wrong with having content locked to specific platforms, as well as who I believe is to blame for this trend. So let's get started. First of all, I want to say that everything I'm about to say is just related to platform exclusive content. I'm not talking about exclusive games, just game content. And as far as that is concerned, this latest Avengers news is just the latest in the trend of this garbage. And I say garbage because that's really just what it is. It's garbage. And like I've said before, I see people who want to blame Sony for this, and honestly, I can't even be mad at Sony, because all they're doing is playing the business the best way they know how, and that is with exclusive content. And as far as I'm concerned, getting mad at Sony in this situation would be like getting mad at McDonald's for selling Coke products. It's McDonald's, it's what they do. They have Coke products and they sell you hamburgers. I mean, what do you want them to do? So I'm not going to blame Sony for this, but I will blame the publishers. The publishers who are willing to accept these deals when they are offered to them. And not just when they are offered to them. Some of these publishers actively seek these kind of deals. And I love it when people say, oh, it's a business, they gotta make their money somehow, as if the publishers behind Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, the Dragon Quest series, and the Hitman series are somehow struggling to come across some money. But honestly, that's besides the point. And quite frankly, this is nothing new. It's been happening for a long time in gaming, these exclusive content deals. I mean, just off the top of my head for this generation, you got Fortnite, Destiny 1 and 2, Control, Call of Duty, probably a ton more that I can't think of right now. So the Avengers is just another one being tacked onto this list. A list that's been growing over generations of gaming. So people ask, why does it keep happening? Like I said, it's just publishers looking to make a quick buck by signing deals with different platforms. I mean, during the 360 era, there were plenty of deals with Xbox, just like there have been with PS4 this generation. And we definitely can't forget about Nintendo in this, because Nintendo loves their exclusive content. So my point is that it's not just a single platform, it's the publishers who cut the deals with the platform. And in this specific case, it just so happens to be Square Enix. And this honestly is nothing new for Square Enix. I mean, if you'll indulge me for a second, I'm gonna get off the topic of console exclusive content and talk about timed exclusive games. Like, let's just take a look at Square Enix for a second. Square Enix is responsible for Rise of the Tomb Raider being locked to Xbox back in 2016 for 1 year. Let's look at Final Fantasy VII Remake this year being locked to PlayStation for a year. Oh, and let's not forget Project Athia from the PS5 Game Showcase a few months back. I can only assume that's going to be locked to PS5 for at least a year. And you also can't forget Final Fantasy XVI, which we're all assuming at this point is going to be a PS5 exclusive for some period of time. So this specific company has a track record of doing this kind of stuff, so it's not really surprising. And you can say what you want about timed game exclusives, you can love them or hate them, and honestly, in my opinion, it's one thing to make a game exclusive to a platform for a certain period of time, but when you start to make the content for the game exclusive to a platform, it just seems kinda scummy to me. Like, for example, I don't mind that Final Fantasy VII Remake is exclusive to PlayStation for a year, because it will eventually come to other platforms. But when you're talking about Spider-Man, and not Spider-Man the game, not the Spider-Man PS4 exclusive, which I have no problem with. Spider-Man PS4, it's a fantastic game, I recommend you play it. But the Spider-Man character being locked to a platform, it's just ridiculous. Especially considering the fact that a lot of people, not all people, but there are people out there who think of the Avengers and think of Spider-Man. They think of of Spider-Man. You're taking one of the main characters from the Marvel universe and you're just locking him to a platform. And the thing that makes this even more messed up, in my opinion, is the fact that if I want to play this on Xbox or PC, I still gotta pay $60. I still gotta pay the same price as the guy on PlayStation. So why don't I get that content? They're getting more content for the same price. How does that make sense? It's honestly a completely backwards situation. And unfortunately for gamers on all platforms, this is simply an old trend that's just going to continue as long as we as gamers are willing to put up with it. And I mean, thankfully in this specific case, it looks like the game's probably not going to do well. Not because of this whole debacle, but because of like just the reviews I'm seeing on Twitter of this beta and the gameplay footage being shown. It looks rough, guys. It really looks rough. And honestly, I was debating whether or not I should even make this video because I wasn't really hyped for this game even before this whole Spider-Man exclusivity debacle. But when you mix the exclusivity situation with the pretty bad gameplay that we've seen, coupled with the overwhelmingly bad reviews we've seen coming from this beta, I mean, that just seals the door on me ever wanting to play this game. But I figured I'd make this video because this honestly seems like a trend that's not going to be slowing down anytime soon. But what are you guys thinking? I mean, who's to blame for this whole console exclusive content? And if you're one of the people who was interested in this game, does it affect where you will be buying the game? As always, leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. Leave a like if you liked the video, and please subscribe if you would be so kind. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.